technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You know, this guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in, and the angles he needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well. And he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hobert.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong, this is Aaron Judge.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
All right, game time decisions. We're in the mix, people. I mean, we are in the mix in a major way here with you on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh. We've got 2 hours to run it and rip it. We're going to talk, of course, Olympics here and give people an idea where do things stand. What you're seeing right in front of you is the medal count for USA up until this point. Some of the recent results that they put on the board, getting some medals there. In the bronze perspective, we see 9. Most importantly, though, is for the U.S., is 3 gold medals. This is, again, a country that is supposed to dominate at the Olympics, always projected to go and have the most medals, the most gold medals. But some of these events are still ongoing, still opening up, still getting underway, so plenty of time here. Again, that opening ceremony was just on Friday, but if you do want to get a chance, an idea of where things are settling in right now, Japan is at the top for the gold medal count with 6. We've got France, China, Australia, and South Korea presently at 5 apiece right now. Of those countries listed at the top here, you'll see France check in with 16 total medals, which is still 4 short of where the USA is at this moment. But when we're talking gold medals, we are talking basketball for the USA. We're talking women's hoops, who played their opening game of Olympic competition about 3 hours ago. They tipped off. Of course, we've gone final sense with a 102-76 win and cover in a big-time over as well. 102-76, USA gets the job done in a rematch of the gold game from a few years ago. Brittany Griner back then was dominant. She was really good off the bench, but the story of this game for Team USA was their top 2 players, Brianna Stewart and, of course, A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson led scoring 24 points as well as 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks. She was absolutely brilliant and dominant in that game. 6 offensive rebounds, creating chances for herself and others on the U.S. The one down note, if you will, for the U.S., it's all relative. The three-point shooting was super lackluster. As a team, they only made 1 3 in the first half. They made 3 of them in the second half. Those all belonged to Sabrina Ionescu. But again, despite the poor shooting, they smoothed to an over 102 points on the board. The one thing to keep an eye on, we know that markets will be resetting. They've reset from a men's basketball perspective. We'll dive into those a little bit later on in this show. I want to get eyes on the USA total points leader. Aja was the favorite before this tournament. She leads after game number 1, but only by 2 on Breanna Stewart. One of the takeaways from that opening game is I think there's more room for Stewie's numbers to increase, and Aja's, again, just to bounce back a touch. Breanna Stewart 0 for 1 from beyond the arc. We expect her to shoot more threes than that. And again, Wilson's ability to attack the glass is legit, but 6 offensive rebounds could very well be a tournament high for her, which might cut into those opportunities some. All stuff we'll break into a little bit more and get into, but we've got a great slate of Major League Baseball, headlined by Paul Skeens and Zach Wheeler in action. And Zach Wheeler goes here for the Philadelphia Phillies to start a series with the New York Yankees. And if you are the Phils, man, you see that minus 154 number on a series price. It's at home, it's respect, but man, the Yanks pitching matchups are a little interesting here. Heel getting the shot against Wheeler. If you're the Yankees, I think you take that. At this point in time, Louis Heel is probably the Yankees, at this moment, best pitcher. Game 2, expectations, Garrett Cole gets the ball. Here's the noteworthy one. Nestor Cortez slated to start Game 3. Nestor Cortez right now is involved in trade rumors. The New York Yankees being connected to Detroit Tigers' Jack Flaherty. And if Jack Flaherty is brought in, the idea is Nestor Cortez will then be sent out. And this is, for me, a stunner. And from a side note Yankee fan, a positive move. As a Baltimore Oriole futures better, a negative move. We talk about Yankees panic buttons, Yankees concerns, and I thought that one of the bigger concerns for the Yankees, while they were certainly going to get some bats in to improve that lineup, they brought Jazz Chisholm in just a couple of days ago. They were probably too tied to the guys within their rotation, which would not give them room to improve it. And being willing to move on from Nestor Cortez for what is definitely an upgrade in Jack Flaherty, I think it's a step in the right direction all in all for the New York Yankees. We will see if they can get that deal done before the deadline comes and goes. Let's take a look at the odds for this baseball game here tonight, which has moved just a tick in the Yanks' favor. Minus 142 now flashing on the Philadelphia Phillies. If you play it, I don't mind it. I get it. I mean, it is Zach Wheeler at home. He's been mostly untouchable there. This total of 9, I was considering an underplay, but the wind is blowing out, and I wanted to be cautious. But again, you've got 2 absolute superstars thrown on the mound in Wheeler and Heel. This could very well be a 4-3 either direction baseball game. Wouldn't surprise in the slightest. What I am going to do in this game is play it under on a player prop, and it's JT Realmuto under 1.5 hits, runs, RBI at minus 130. I was talking about this a little bit earlier on today on Twitter. Just the hits, runs, RBI market is one that I found myself more and more comfortable in as the season has continued, but really lining it up for over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. And I've been trying to, play around and cap the underside of it. You will find they are expensive. Again, this minus 130 number here, more common than, getting plus 100s and plus 110s on guys that will likely match up and kind of find that profile that works here. But I thought with tonight's slate, we had enough strong pitchers and hopefully enough good matchups, which we do, that we could maybe go the reverse side and see what our success looks like for tonight. There are 4 hits, runs, RBI props to the under on my card tonight, and it starts with JT Realmuto. He struggled this year against right-handed pitching. Louis Heel allows a sub-200 batting average to righties this year. JT's batting 6th in the lineup as well, so not an overly dangerous spot. And I think it's a nice way to get involved here with Yanks Phils tonight, which should really be a fun one. If you're looking to extend from an unders way, Nick Castellanos, batting 7th, could certainly line up. And actually, now it's, again, super expensive, but Gleyber Torres is 1.5 at minus 165. Certainly at least match the profile of a guy that you would look to play under that 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Let's take a look at some big picture items here between New York and Philadelphia. When you talk about win total, the way the Phillies have grabbed control over that NL East, and you see it reflected here at a minus 112 or minus 1,200 number, to win that division. But there's not as much separation on that win total, and that's where you see the impact of being in the same division as the Baltimore Orioles, and vice versa for the Orioles. And their status as favorites, but not monster favorites, is because they're in the same division as the New York Yankees. What's really noteworthy is the World Series price here, and Philly being underneath New York. I think that's really, really interesting. Neither team is booked as if making the postseason is in doubt. And again, if Philadelphia is going to get the edge due to home field advantage, we've not fully seen that play out. And if these teams did meet in a World Series, which is a plus 900 number, Philly would definitely have would have home field advantage. At least that's what you would expect. Although we just showed the win total not super, super far apart. The expectation is the Phillies would have a pitching advantage as well. But the Phillies would have had to been able to get through a Dodgers team that is still booked a little bit more favorably there. So in some respects, even though I'm not overwhelmingly high on the Yankees, maybe that number with Philadelphia is just a tick too short. One more pick on the board because we're in the mix here today. Let's get a Braves team total over that 3.5. This is an anti-bounce-back spot for Colin Ray. We're going to look to sell high. This 3.5 number here, way too short. I know the Braves are dealing with a lot of injuries, but they make good on the road in Milwaukee. We're on the card already. A lot more to go with the baseball. That's next here on SportsGrid.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night it is going to be. Historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target. Right hand from my Perry, double check. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, we're live right here on SportsGrid. It's a Monday night. We got a packed Major League Baseball board. It looks like it's going to be a 6:50 start for Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Orioles and the Blue Jays. It was initially listed at 6:05, but that did bounce back with a longer game due to 16 runs being plated in total, 11 of those belonging to Baltimore. Unfortunately for me, none of those belong to Gunnar Henderson. While I'm Certainly not panicking over the 79.5 season-long RBI number. He sits currently at 64. Gunnar Henderson, it was just a little odd play it short. It kind of looked like he was cleated by a Padre sliding in, and it serves as a reminder with all season-long player props. Man, you're going to hear me emphasize this a lot when we get to football season, how injuries often really decide those wagers. This Gunnar Henderson bet's looked so good for so long, 63 RBI at the All-Star break there. It's now one of those things I find myself checking the Orioles box scores a little extra now to see if he's put an RBI on the board. But again, game number 2, Povich Francis there. Baltimore with the first win will be getting underway at 6:50. We mentioned Yankees-Phillies. That'll be getting underway at 6:40, as will Tigers-Guardians, where I will have a play in this game here. Tanner Beebe goes for the Cleveland Guardians, and Tanner Beebe's been really strong this season against right-handed bats as a righty himself, allowing a brilliant 1.72 batting average to opposed right-handed hitters. So for me, as I was lining up the 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and who could potentially be some unders, what you'll notice is guys that qualified, right? There was 3 guys that I had circled up, right? I would try and locate the player before you get to the number, right? So Justin Henry Malloy and Ryan Kreidler look like, okay, those guys could be worthwhile. Well, the books agree. That's why their numbers are a half of a hit-run RBI. Plus 100 to that under on Kreidler. Plus 135 on Henry Malloy, right, on Justin Henry Malloy. But again, that's a half of a hit-run RBI. I mean, that's a situation where you ground out into a fielder's choice, next man up hits one out, you lost, and this guy's done nothing all game. So I still think for me, if I'm going to look to play an under 1.5 hits, runs, RBI, I want that number to certainly be 1.5 or 2.5, right? If you can find a number in that range. The only time I had that under 2.5 was a Bo Bichette number, and I ended up actually not playing in that baseball game. But who is playing and who I'm on under is Mark Canha at minus 130 here. Again, we're looking to fade some right-handed bats. Now, Canha is going to go 4th in this lineup tonight, but against righties this season, batting .215. Really, really poor. It's just not been a great season for Mark Canha overall. It's not been a great season for the Detroit Tigers. With Tanner Bybee's success against the right-handed bats and where those Mark Canha numbers drop in, I'm playing him under 1.5 hits, runs, RBI at minus 130. I'm on Brandon Nimmo under the 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. That number was minus 120. It actually did drop to minus 110 as I was getting set to click that number, so that very well could be where you'll be locating that. But Simeon Woods Richardson going here for Minnesota is actually checking in with the reverse splits, which I'm always a fan of. Because I think so often books will, you have a lefty on lefty, they'll kind of drop it, or they might say, oh, this lefties are going to smash righties. Well, Simeon Woods Richardson this year is allowing just a .202 batting average against right now left-handed bats. He's only allowed 2 home runs on the season, so I'm going to look to attack a Brandon Nimmo under 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. Now, a little more of a danger spot due to Nimmo batting 2nd in this lineup. The other guy you could have looked at for an under would have been Jeff McNeil, but Jeff McNeil was more expensive and is way hotter right now than Brandon Nimmo. While he's batting 7th, I thought it was better to bet Nimmo in the 2-hole, despite, again, that danger spot there. And getting it at minus 120, minus 110, I think is a good enough price. So we're on that under. The last one, if I had a favorite, it would be this one, but it's the most expensive, so it's rightfully so. But that would be Dom Smith under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs against Logan Gilbert. Dom Smith is batting .217 against right-handed pitching this year. Dom Smith overall has just not been very good for the Boston Red Sox. Yet he gets a chance here going up against the Mariners because Logan Gilbert has the ball and, looks like from the idea, at least of Boston, is, maybe the lefties will be a little bit more dangerous. Well, neither side of the dish is hitting above 200 against Logan Gilbert this year. 188 against righties, well, it's a 193 against lefties. and it's actually been a lot less from a power perspective for left-handed bats. I'm happy to play Dom Smith under this number here even though it's at a minus 145 price. The one over that is on my card tonight comes to us in Houston for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That is O'Neal Cruz, who has been really good this year against right-handed pitching and goes up against Jake Bloss, who against lefties is allowing a 379 batting average. While it is only 29 at-bats, it is enough of a sample size for me to go against Jake Bloss with O'Neal Cruz at minus 110. And again, I just want people to track this here. And we'll get into schemes, big picture stuff, all that. But this is the first time you'll notice me have 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs predominantly from the under. And I think what might jump out to some is the varying in juice. I know it jumped out to me. I've got O'Neal Cruz at a minus 110, and his numbers qualify as good as, right, the Nimmo under or, potentially that Mark Canha number, right? I mean, it's a little bit of the inverse there. What kind of hit rate are we going to need on these unders to make this be the appropriate play? Are we going to have to find our 2 favorite unders of the night, put them in a parlay, right? Now all of a sudden I can access a minus 165 Gleyber Torres, right? Maybe that becomes something that we try and look at here. But as we get set for the back end of this Major League Baseball season, right, we look to incorporate some of these under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and that's what we're doing with that card. So to run through it just once more, Mark Canha under 1.5, Brandon Nimmo under 1.5, Dom Smith under 1.5, and JT Realmuto under 1.5. It's O'Neal Cruz over the 1.5, and the Braves team total over 3.5. We're back with more Game Time decisions now.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target. Right hand from my very double check. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, Game Time Decisions is back with you on a Monday night here. And the one item we didn't cover just yet from a baseball perspective is we've got Paul Skeens Day, which is important. I mean, again, I know a lot of you out there have some Paul Skeens NL Cy Young tickets, right? Like if you have the Rookie of the Year tickets, you're obviously in a brilliant position. If you are worried about anything, you can certainly touch the Merrill or Imanaga or even Mason win numbers if you'd like. But there are people right now who have Paul Skeens numbers at huge prices, which makes every single start really, really important. Well, you have, again, still in front of him, just two guys. And from a tier perspective, only two guys. Hunter Green and Dylan Cease at 30-1 have essentially zeros to the back end of their prices compared to Paul Skeens. Chris Sale, who's not on today's slate, there, to me, is a world that we see him start to drop back. Well, I think if you ended the season today, I think Chris Sale would win the vote. I think Chris Sale would win the vote if you ended the season today. I think it is on the board that we see Chris Sale used maybe a little bit more cautiously by Atlanta. Maybe I'm projecting a desire for this to happen for a number of reasons, but this team lost Spencer Strider out of the gate and now just sent Ronaldo Lopez home with the forearm strain. We don't know what the word is yet. I bet the Atlanta Braves at the All-Star break to win the National League at plus 475. Ultimately feeling like that was a really strong number, and I was plenty happy with that price. Well, this team has nearly won as many games as they have created new injury concerns since that's happened. They've won 3 baseball games out of the 9 that they've played since the break, and we now have a major Ozzie Albies injury added. That was not, again, the case at the break, and potentially a Ronaldo Lopez injury added. For the Atlanta Braves, while also, playing the Mets and seeing them jump, it's not been smooth sailing, and it's why Atlanta numbers have come back, to plus 550 in some spots. We'll see what Atlanta does at the deadline. We've seen them make magic before. That's how they won a World Series. Deadline acquisitions. We'll see if they're able to do it again. And again, they might need to. At the moment, the MRI was clean for Ronaldo Lopez, but they may be a little more cautious with him. And therefore, I wonder if they're a little more cautious with Chris Sale. Zach Wheeler goes today as well as Paul Skeens, which I always think is super relevant. And, man, both guys are in spots to make huge moves with great performances, but could also be blown up. Yanks bats found some juice at the back end of the Fenway Series. And the wind's blowing out tonight. If Judgy gets a hold of one, If Jazz Chisholm starts flying around the base paths. But, hey, similar worries for Paul Skeens. The Astros are hot. They are. And if Yordan Alvarez or Alex Bregman or Altuve get a hold of one, time will tell. But it's a big slate when it comes to that award. Look, we're going to be covering your trade deadline on this show. You know that for sure. I do believe Wednesday we'll see things really, really pop off, which I will not be for. And in fact, a little programming note, but after tomorrow's game time decisions, I will then see you a week from today. A little vacation. I like to think I've earned such a thing. Doing some celebrating, some good times. I'm excited for it. I hope you've had a nice vacation at some point this summer as well. But again, with that said, okay, the trade deadline's coming up. We're going to start to see some shifts. We had some big trades that even did pop through today for Major League Baseball. We saw Fetty on the move from the Chicago White Sox, who are going to be looking to sell off basically, it seems like, everything other than Louis Robert, which is interesting. We've got Tommy Edman making his way to the Dodgers. And does Michael Kopech going to the Dodgers not feel like just one of those things that's going to work out? And that's not, to me, as much as a Dodger thing. I think I would have said that no matter where Michael Kopech went. Like, in fact, as the Tampa Bay Rays are currently torturing me by, I have the under for Tampa Bay, and they are selling and winning at the same time. They're like, see, great breakdown, Kev. You knew we'd sell. Watch us win every game we play. Classic Rays. Imagine Michael Kopech landed in Tampa. Like, I might take him to win a Cy Young if that happened. Instead, he lands with the Dodgers. Time will tell. We'll talk golf with you on a Monday as well. That's next.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target for right hand from my boy double champion. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, we're back with you right here on SportsGrid. Great to have you with us on this Monday night as we got a lot of baseball action here, certainly, but I know people are loving the Olympics right now, a lot of watching, and certainly from a betting perspective, we know that the basketball's dominating, aided certainly by their start times, which has helped up until this point. I know the tennis, we have some big names out there. I believe we had 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Nadal Novak. Again, awesome. People are definitely going to watch the replay, right? How many were up for it? How many were locking in on it, right? The basketball today, we had at 3 p.m. The one sport that I do think is going to really command some attention from people is the golf. Because people are used to people get their golf bets in before things get underway, right? If it happens, we're used to golf happening overnight now, right? Due to the fact we were just over there playing the Open Championship, the Scottish Open, and also, man, this field here for the golf is brilliant. I mean, it is star-studded, man. And speaking of stars, let's get Keith Stewart in here, who has just been ripping it and roaring it on the PGA Tour. Keith, always good to talk to you here. And I wanted to start by saying, congrats on a heck of a weekend for you and the crew over at Read the Line.
Kevin, it was classic Sunday. I mean, this is why we cover the men and the women, is to come up with a double win. And we sweated through both Johnny Vegas there in Minnesota, brought home 80-1. And then later on that night in Calgary, the Women's Canadian Open, Lauren Coughlin got it done with a birdie on the 71st hole. Just awesome stuff. Her first win and a 40-1 ticket as well. So 120-1 on one Sunday. It took some patience and some sweat, but we got it done, and nothing better than that.
Yeah, fantastic again. And the thing with the golf, though, the work never stops, right? And now you get into the Olympics here, Keith. Can you just, because I think you're one of the perfect people to ask about this before we get into the bets, right? Can you set the stage for me? What this means to these guys? We know what a Masters at Augusta means, right? We understand what even winning a Travelers means, or the FedEx Cup, which is around the corner. Winning Olympic gold, is this something that's starting to resonate even more with the best golfers in the world?
You know what? That is a tremendous question, and I've thought a lot about that, because if you go back to 2016 in Rio, think about the 4 Americans we sent over there: Ricky, Bubba, Patrick Reed, and Matt Kuchar. I mean, that was the 4 guys we could get to go to Rio to compete for a men's Olympic gold. And Justin Rose ultimately won that gold medal, and Matt Kuchar got the bronze. But think about those guys, and then think about who we're sending this year. we're sending number 1 in the world, Scotty, number 2, Xander. We're sending Wyndham Clark and Colin Morikawa, all the top 6 in the world. And we have 8 of the top 10 ranked golfers in the world competing in this 60-man field. I think in 8 years, this thing has done a complete facelift. And as far as, from the outside looking in and from the fans' perspective, on the men's and the women's side, this thing has done a total transition that has benefited us tremendously.
And then when you dive into the setup here in Paris, Keith, what are you looking for, right? I mean, is it, again, just kind of the horses for courses? Is there stuff that's really jumping out to you as key indicators heading into the Olympics?
This seems like a new golf course to a lot of people, but as soon as you start to see the television on Thursday, you're going to say, wow, a lot of these holes look familiar. Well, it was the host site for the 2018 Ryder Cup, but I'm going to preach this to everyone. A Ryder Cup and the way it was set up will not be the same way that it's set up now. Match play is a much different animal than individual stroke play for 72 holes. So even if somebody like a Tommy Fleetwood played great in the Ryder Cup or John Rahm, I would just say pump the brakes. That doesn't mean they won't play great this week, but don't make that the deciding factor for picking your edges on card. The second thing is that every year they have the Open de France there. So it's owned by the French Golf Association. So they host their national championship every year, and it's a DP World Tour event. And we've had guys like Alex Noren in 2018. Tommy Fleetwood won there in 2017. Graham McDowell's won there a couple times. So this is the type of golf course we're dealing with. Now, the setup this week already, we're hearing from the players, is much more subdued, certainly than the Ryder Cup, but even more so than the Open de France, which happens every fall in September or October. It has been very warm over there in France. Good growing conditions, but it seems like what they're trying to do is create a little bit of scoring for the fans. The average winning score over there over the last 5 years has only been 12 under par in the Open de France. So that's a little more bogey avoidance than it is birdie or better percentage. But I think that this week you're going to need to go low, a la Johnny Vegas out there at the 3M, maybe 17 or 18 under. I think these guys are going to be able to get after this place. And plus, the French Open there on the DP World Tour doesn't have a field like this.
Right. That's a really, really good point, because this field starts with Scotty, and then it's Xander, Rory, Rahm, Colin. I mean, it's everybody, again, that you could possibly want, at least at that top of the board outside of Bryson. I mean, really, right, from just the guys that have kind of all command that attention. So you have this incredible field. Keith, who is jumping out to you right now in this outright market?
On the DP World Tour, it always seems like experience is a feather in your cap. It's a separating factor. Of those top 6 that are under 20 to 1, only Rahm and Rory have ever played here before. And both of them have multiple top 10s. In fact, Rory has multiple top 5s. They haven't been there a ton, but they've had success there. We have 30 rookies coming there. That includes all 4 of our guys. Right? It's one of those things where I really worry about course knowledge here. And again, we're not going to go back to the Ryder Cup because there aren't very many guys other than Fleetwood and Rahm and a couple others that even played in that Ryder Cup. So let's just throw that out the window. We can go with that DP World Tour experience, but I worry about the top. Is this a season where Xander's going to win 2 majors and the Olympics and defend his gold medal? Man, that seems like a lot. Scotty Scheffler, I guess, Kevin, I would ask you this. Those guys have been there almost a month. What are they doing, right? Because there's no way they're in their normal workout routine with all that's going on with the Olympics and everything else. So my biggest question coming into this week is, what is your motivation? Is your motivation to go check out, the Louvre and see the Mona Lisa and then maybe try to compete for gold? Or is your motivation like Shane Lowry, a guy that wants to hold the flag, be a flag bearer, be at the front of the boat, be an ambassador for his home country of Ireland, a guy that handled the pressure over in Royal Portrush the first time in 50 plus years that they had a British Open there, and he won it. Is it Tom Kim who's trying, or Ben On that's trying to avoid mandatory military service? What is your motivation this week? It goes back to your original question. I think we've elevated the status of this event, but I still wonder what everyone's motivation is playing this week and how deep they're willing to go to work in order to grab one of those 3 medals.
It's a really interesting way to put it, Keith. And again, we have a little bit of time before we have to kind of click to make any decisions. I will tell you, though, because what I'm thinking about speaks to motivation a bit. There was a part of me that is tempted to just bet Scotty and be done with it, because what I've seen from Scotty this year is basically it's rarer that he goes back-to-back tournaments that he plays in without winning them this season. And again, a T7 for him at the Open, for every other golfer, awesome. For him this year, it's one of the lesser performances he's had within this, 3-4 month window. That's why Scotty, to me, again, is plus 360 enough. That's always where golf is so fun to break down. And, man, I think this is going to be a really, really awesome event. And, Keith, I appreciate the insight as always.
All right. Kevin, it's a pleasure to be with you. And I would watch out for John Rahm. If there's anybody that's really motivated over there, to go back to my point, just won Live London, and there's a guy that has been comparing himself all season and has not gotten the job done when he's gone head-to-head with Scotty and Xander and Rory. He would love to walk away with gold in France, to his neighboring country of Spain.
Yeah, it's an incredible point there. Keith Stewart helping us out here. SportsGrid will be right back.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target, right hand from my belly, double jab. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, we're live right here. It's Game Time Decisions in the mix on a Monday. We have some games getting underway, Philadelphia and New York, Detroit and Cleveland. Let's talk some baseball. Let's talk it with Joe Madden. And, Joe, can we just start with the two games that are underway? Are you betting either of these games here, specifically an awesome one with the Phillies and the Yanks?
Yeah, it's the Phillies and the Yankees that I really did isolate in this time slot here, Kevin. And I'm looking at fading Zach Wheeler in a way coming out here for the Phillies. I'm looking to fade him against left-handed bats, and that is Soto for the New York Yankees to come out nice and strong and be able to hit him hard in this one. So I'm taking Soto for the RBI. That's coming in at plus 135, and I'm also looking at him for that home run at plus 290. I've also got to put a little bit of money on Ben Rice as well for that RBI. His RBI value is there, and I do think he'll hit Zach Wheeler with the struggles that Wheeler has had. Versus lefties, he's coming in at plus 220, Kevin. I think the Yankees have every opportunity of pulling off the win in this one as well, with Luis Gil getting the start.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun game here between these two. Interested to see how Wheeler works through this Yankees lineup that certainly found a little bit of a rhythm in that series at the back end, at least, against the Boston Red Sox. And we've also got Giancarlo Stanton returning to the lineup tonight, so we'll see what Big G has in store. As far as the action that has not started yet, Joe, let's go to the Red Sox. They're at home against the Seattle Mariners, and Seattle struggling a little bit. They got the perfect relief. That was a series against the Chicago White Sox. What do you think about the Seattle Mariners heading into Fenway Park?
Yeah, we have seen those struggles for Seattle out here, but Logan Gilbert getting the start. And I love when he has the start, Kevin. I've always got to find a way to back him. Now, I do think Seattle can get the win, even though they're on the road here. So looking at them straight up on that money line with a little bit of plus money, I think is a really solid way to go, especially against the Boston Red Sox. We know the Boston Red Sox have been able to put some runs on the board, but this team is struggling to not strike out there. And looking at Logan Gilbert, I've altered up his strikeout prop. His strikeout prop is sitting at 5.5. You're going to have to lay minus 148 to the over. And I don't blame you if you just sit at 5.5, but I'm going to ult him up to 7+ strikeouts. We're getting great plus money at plus 144 in this matchup. And in 6 of his last 8 outings, he has recorded at least 6 strikeouts. I like him here versus Boston. Boston striking out 9.67 times per 9 innings. And I do think in this one, Logan Gilbert's going to go deep enough in this game to record at least 7 strikeouts. So big on Logan Gilbert, not high on Nick Pivetta today coming out for the Boston Red Sox. His numbers at home are not where I want to see him at. He's 1-4 with a 5.50 ERA, Kevin. So it's Seattle for me in this one, even though they've shown those struggles.
Quick update here, and let me just double confirm this. Yep, best hitter in the world did it again. Aaron Judge just went out there and put one 406 into the seats. He is just having, man, Joe, just to ask you about it quickly, because you have actually done an incredible job kind of telling people, don't overthink a lot of the slate. Just attack the Judge RBI if it's ever plus money. I know you were on Soda tonight, but I mean, this guy's going to leave this series against the Phillies probably with 100 RBI on the board. That's his 97th of the season, his 38th home run.
Yeah, and I think with him already hitting nice and strong out there, you look for him to continue to do it today. I'd be jumping on his live props for the 2+ RBIs, for the 2+ home runs. We know when he's hot and he's rolling against a pitcher, he doesn't stop. So Aaron Judge, definitely someone you always have to put on your card. It's rinse and repeat for me, Kevin, with Aaron Judge. Now, I did target Soto because I like the lefty angle there in this one, but can never leave out Judge out of your card. He's proven it today.
Yeah, it is, again, just awesome to watch him continue to dominate this situation here. Guardians got a run on the board as well. Yerfy season all of a sudden, Joe, which is really interesting. Let's get over here with this St. Louis and Texas matchup. The Cardinals at home, a dog with Nathan Eovaldi going for Texas. What do you like in this one?
This is going to be a great pitching matchup. Nathan Eovaldi coming out here, like you said, for the Texas Rangers. He's got very strong numbers on the season. He's 7-4 with an ERA sitting right around 3.31. We have Pallante coming out for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, his numbers are solid as well, 4-4 with a 3.92. I do think both of these pitchers have the ability, even though we've seen Pallante struggle in his last couple out there. Actually, no, his last 7 have been strong. A 2.82 ERA in those last 7. He's just one of those pitchers that I've sometimes looked at and I've gone, is he going to be able to handle this lineup? And I do think he'll be able to handle the Texas Rangers lineup in this matchup tonight. I think this is a pure pitching duel. I'd be looking at the Nerfy in this one, and I'm going to take that first 5 innings under 4.5 runs. That's coming in at minus 118. I don't expect a lot of runs. Now, the St. Louis Cardinals in some of these games, their pitching and their bullpen have been dreadful, and they've allowed so many runs to come in. We look at them last week versus the Washington Nationals and how the Nationals were able to dominate. So that's why I'm targeting the first 5 here. I worry a little bit about the bullpen, even though this bullpen should be stronger than we did see it versus Washington. So give me the first 5 under 4.5 runs at -118, Kevin. The wind is also blowing in this game from right center. It's going to be a beautiful 92 degrees, though, in St. Louis tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to follow here, certainly. Joe, let's hit this Kansas City game quickly because they're up against the Chicago White Sox, a team that has lost 14 games in a row. What do you think about this one tonight?
Let's go for 15. They'll probably go for 16 as well. I'm laying the run line with the Kansas City Royals here. Chris Flexen getting the start for the Chicago White Sox, and I cannot trust him at all. Alec Marsh coming out here for the Kansas City Royals. Now, when the Royals are winning, they're nicely covering that run line. They're 26-22 on the road on that run line, and I do think they cover it today. So laying the 1.5 at -111. They've also dominated the meetings between them and the White Sox, winning 9 of the last 10 straight up and going 8-2 on that run line. So give me the Kansas City Royals. I think this is one you could probably alt as well, Kevin. You know I love betting the dogs, but this is a favorite one. I'd even lay 2.5 with the Kansas City Royals and get that great plus money.
Wow. All right. Listen, considering what we've seen from – I saw something today. This is, I believe, their second losing streak of 14-plus games. And if you took out both of those losing streaks, they would still have the worst record in baseball. Tough season. We'll talk more baseball with Joe next.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fight. It was a big night of memorable moments. Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Left hand from Rockwell. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target. Right hand from my boy, double check number 8. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, we're back with you right here. It's Game Time Decisions live with you on this Monday night. We mentioned 2 baseball games that did get underway at 6:40, both cashing your fees for the people due to the Yankees getting a home run out of Aaron Judge, and then the Guardians are still going right now, up 3-0 on the Detroit Tigers. Joe, we do have the Pittsburgh Pirates going later today with Paul Skeens going. I did get a message, though, that it looks like Jake Bloss might be scratched from this game here, which has caused the lines to lock, and I don't know how much, if anything, that will change the breakdown for you. What are you thinking about Pittsburgh and Houston?
Yeah, it does change it a bit here, Kevin, but I still do think looking at this matchup, You still have to look at the Pittsburgh Pirates. I was looking at them to get the start in this one. And with Jake Bloss, I just don't know who we're going to see out there. So all of my bets really were looking more at the Pirates, except for the Nerfy. I played the Nerfy in this one. It was juicy at minus 146. So I'm a little worried about that with who Houston will take out there. But I do still think the first five. You look at the Pirates on the run line. Paul Skeens getting the start here, laying the half for runs, coming in at minus 113 pre this news. If you're having to lay up to minus 120, minus 125 juice now with those adjustments, I do still think it is a way to go. Now, Paul Skeens, I wanted to find something to back of him here, Kevin. We know how strong he is, but the books really are catching up with Paul Skeens. We look at him in that last start versus the St. Louis Cardinals, and I couldn't believe he just kept coming out inning after inning in that one, recording 25 outs. He was absolutely phenomenal, 8 strikeouts. His strikeout number today is coming in at 7.5. It's coming into the over at plus 116. I feel like the books are really begging us to take the over 7.5 strikeouts in this one. I'm going to stay off of it because I'm worried he hits just right on that 7 and they pull him out of this game. I don't think he's going to last as long as we've seen him in the last couple. Now, while he lasted long versus St. Louis, when we look at him in those other starts versus the Milwaukee Brewers, he did go 7-7 versus New York Mets. But I think we have more of the game where we saw him versus the Atlanta Braves, where we only saw him out for those 6 innings. So staying off the Paul Skeens props, looking at the Pirates, though, for him to be out there for those first 5 innings, laying the half a run at up to minus 120 juice, depending on what your lines are right now, Kevin.
All right, now I will let people know we are getting some baseball trades here. We just got another one involving the Washington Nationals, who we're going to send Lane Thomas to the Guardians. We're going to be talking to Craig Mish in just a couple of moments here on Game Time Decisions and hear from him what he thinks about the deadline, which is, of course, coming up. But we're with Joe Madden right now, and Joe, the Nationals are playing later tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I've told people today I'm looking for some unders on hitter props, but if there was a game that should see plenty of offense, it would be Arizona and Washington later tonight.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you right there. The over 9 looks too easy, but I do think it's the right way to go in this one, coming in at minus 110. Parker getting the start here for the Washington Nationals. Now, my only fear would be that the Washington Nationals, with them selling off all these pieces, really come out deflated in this one. But against Jordan Montgomery, they're going to hit him even if this team is feeling deflated out there. His ERA is weak on the season as 6.11 and weak, to say it nicely. And when we look at him at home, it's even worse. His home ERA is 7.82. So I can't trust Jordan Montgomery out here, even if the Nationals just don't bring everything they have in this game tonight. Parker for the Washington Nationals, he's been lit up in his last 3 outings. That ERA in the last 3 is over 10, Kevin. It's just not pretty out there. I'm just going to roll with the over in this one. I'd look at the Yorfie. You said it was Yorfie City in those first couple of games that kicked off at the bottom of the hour here. I'm looking for the Yorfie in this one as well. It's just juicy. So you got to lay some juice. I'd probably look at the over 1.5 runs in the first inning as well. Expect those runs to come quick. And probably by the Arizona Diamondbacks, we look at this team. They haven't lost a 3-game series since the end of June there. So they've been phenomenally strong.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on all of that. Certainly, perhaps some changes for that Nats lineup with that Lane Thomas change. But we will certainly, again, be keeping tabs. Joe, we appreciate it. As always, best of luck with this baseball board.
Best of luck out there, Kevin, and you guys enjoy this trade deadline. It's chaos out there, and I love it.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's going to be fun to, again, see which teams can get markedly better, I'll say. And look, just because you add offense doesn't mean you don't think that you should try and add a pitcher, right? It's all about what's available at the right price. But if you were to say, hey, do you think the Guardians should be looking for a bat or looking for an arm, my mind would push towards arm. But again, it doesn't mean you don't throw a guy like Lane Thomas into your lineup, and that's exactly what they've gone and done here. We're going to talk to Craig Mish next on a Monday night with you. It's Game Time Decisions.
an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah, we'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target. Right hand from my boy, double champion. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
Game time decisions. I am Kevin Walsh. We are here on SportsGrid, and very appropriately, as Jazz Chisholm hits his first home run as a New York Yankee, the man who brought to you the news that the Yankees and the Marlins were talking joins us right now. That is, of course, Craig Mish, who you can catch every day here on Newswire. Craig, it is, I am sure, as busy a time of year that you have, so I appreciate you making some time on a Monday night.
Of course. I mean, this is, it's an interesting time always for baseball. I mean, people love transactions in sports, Kevin. And, similar, I think, to the NBA in a way. You have people that are like coming out of the woodwork talking about Major League Baseball trades that probably have not watched any baseball all season long. I always find that interesting.
Yeah, I will tell you this, Craig. I am going to wildly overreact to everything Jazz Chisholm does, because truly, I am a Yankee fan. I don't hide that. And this is the one, the Yankees have not had a player who is super cool in, let's just call it, a very long time. You know Jazz Chisholm well, being within the East Coast. You know the Yankees well. I don't think I am. Jazz Chisholm has a energy, aura, whatever you will call it, that I genuinely do believe is much, much needed for this Yankees team, roster, lineup overall.
It's very hard to say. I've known Jazz for several years now, since he's come up since 2020, and both on a personal level a little bit, a professional level, without a doubt. I think maybe, Jazz in the media, I mean, was I his go-to guy? I don't know that that's fair, but we definitely had a really good working relationship when he was playing with the Marlins. And with Jazz, he's been, Kevin, always super popular. There's no denying that, but he hasn't been on the field that much over the last few years. This is the first season that he's really been able to put it all together, and I think he would tell you the same thing. Some of his injuries were a little bit freakish and odd, and that just happens to athletes. It's happened to Jazz. Injecting him into a pennant race, he was in one last year with Miami. I think people forgot that too. I do think he'll respond well to New York. I think he'll do great. I just, the thing with him on the opposite side is, and I'll be very clear about it, is that you got to leave him alone. You're not going to change him. So this idea that he needs to be around some veterans and they're going to, shape him up or ship him out, I mean, it's nonsense. You have to let him be who he is. I learned that as a member of the media. And hopefully Yankees clubhouse, Yankees fans, etc., let him be who he is. You'll get the best performance out of him. That's not going to work well, Kevin, for everybody in Major League Baseball or sports. It's not going to. There are going to be people that are not going to like him, and the way that he is. And if you try to change him, you're not going to get the best result. Just let it be.
And I'm telling you this, Craig, and I'm glad we got to hit on this a little bit. I don't want to spend all the time talking about this. I'm sure you've talked about it so much, but
a lot.
Not that my Yankee fandom in this aspect matters, but I am not someone that, like, I'd rather them put names on the back of the jerseys and let people grow beards, right? Like, I think all that stuff is weird, and that's why I love everything you just said, because quite frankly, Jazz being Jazz, I think should have been part of the reason that they made a move like this. But again, we can move off of that. I'm curious right now, again, with this deadline around the corner. I know that, of course, the Marlins beat is where your focus is, but are there other kind of developing stories that you are watching, maybe even hearing about, that you think right now could very well be the big story within the next 48, 72 hours?
I think you're starting to see it a little bit now, Kevin. I think there's a lot of stories to watch. I mean, you have fan bases like Seattle and like Kansas City that really, I mean, Seattle's now made some moves, but the Royals, it's not a popular team. I'm sure that you talk about a lot at night here, but that's a team that's got to put some foot on the pedal here. I mean, those Royals fans deserve for that team to add some stuff to that clubhouse. So hopefully that ends up happening. I don't think you're going to see your traditional huge names moved, your Sotos, Machados, Trey Turners. Like, I just don't see those guys being dealt. I think there'll be a lot of extra pieces and a lot of teams jockeying to get better. The one team that I would keep an eye on, I hate to say it here, because again, everybody who knows me here on SportsGrid says we talk too much Yankees and Mets. I do believe that. But the Mets, I think, are now set to make a big move. I think you're going to see them do something significant. Now, it will not be significant like adding a Scherzer or a Verlander, one of those guys back again, or anything like that. But I do think that the ownership and the team recognize they have a chance to make the postseason, and I think that they're going to add players.
Let me then take a chance to not give you Yankees or Mets. The Guardians are a team I know you've said we don't talk enough about. They just traded for Lane Thomas. You look at this team, they're sat here 63-42. They, at the moment, have the best record in the American League. You hear they make a move like Lane Thomas. Do you think that this is a Guardians team that by the time we're getting to postseason baseball, we really view as a team that is actually live to win the American League?
That's a great question, and I have a really good answer. They're all live, Kevin. We sat here last year. If you asked me to come on the show and you were working at night, and it was 7:08 Eastern, a couple of days before the deadline, and I would have said, Kevin, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be the Texas Rangers and Arizona Diamondbacks. You would have said, all right, Craig, thanks for coming on. You would have clicked the off button with me and said, this guy, I mean, I don't know how he has a gig here at SportsGrid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's a tournament. Major League Baseball has turned the postseason into a tournament, and it's great. I got no beef with it whatsoever, but when they've added these extra wild card teams, you're leaving more than a crack in the door for one of these teams to break through. That's why the Mets, the Guardians, the Orioles, the Royals, everybody's got to go for it to some degree, because you never know. You could be there in the end. As far as Cleveland is concerned, can they win the World Series? Yes. Could they get bounced in the first round or whenever they play? Second round, I guess, because they won't have to play wild card. Absolutely, they could get bounced too. But that's a very sharp organization. They always do things the right way, low payroll or not. They do a great job in player development, both on the hitting side and pitching side. Lane Thomas, in a deep run for the postseason, will strike fear into the hearts of left-handed pitching. He's fantastic against left-handed pitching, as Sam, our producer, knows. So that's the main reason I think Cleveland acquired him. They have some really strong left-handed hitters, Naylor and company, Kwan. I think they needed a righty to go along with that.
I'm curious, Craig, and it's funny, I now feel a challenge to go to the off-the-beaten-path teams, but also the stories are where they are. And the Atlanta Braves lost Ozzie Albies as soon as we came out of the break, and now there was a Ronaldo Lopez scare. They said the MRI was clean. And, again, you know it super well. A few years ago, what they did at the deadline led to a World Series. You have major expectations for, I guess it's all relative, right? I know you said we're not supposed to get a megastar traded, but do you think Atlanta's going to be really especially aggressive over the next few days?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've had conversations about this team before. I don't know about super aggressive. I think they probably are another team that owes it to the clubhouse to try. But in fairness to the Braves, I hate to say it, Kevin, but in fairness to the Braves, I simply don't know how you can overcome losing arguably the best pitcher in the National League, the best hitter in the National League, your second baseman, another starting pitcher. I think they're going to try But is this the season, if you're the Braves, to go all in? I don't think so. I think that they'll try to stay above water and they'll try to fight to the end. But if I'm the Braves and I'm sitting back, sometimes it's just not your year. And I just don't know that the Braves can make a deep postseason run with all of these injuries that they have. They don't have the most injuries in the league, Kevin, but I think they have the most significant injuries of any team that's going to qualify potentially for the postseason.
I mean, again, just to drive home what Craig just said, the favorites to win NL Cy Young and NL MVP were both Atlanta Braves and haven't played baseball for this team since May. What was it, April? When Acuna went down. I mean, it's a great point. Again, Craig, I appreciate you making some time. Best of luck with everything that's going to happen again over the next few days there. Make sure everybody tunes in to Newswire as well, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on Sports Grid. Craig, we appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks for having me. No problem.
All right, great stuff there again from Craig Mish, who I did, by the way, I was told from behind the scenes, Craig, more open to the idea, Paul Skeens, to win NL Cy Young. Very exciting. Goes later tonight. We'll be keeping tabs on that as well. We're live here on Sports Grid.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments. Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Left hand from Rockhold. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target for right hand from Mike Perry, double check number 8. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, we're live with you right here on Sports Grid. Game time decisions quickly on your baseball board. Not much new to get to just yet. We have Guardians 3-0. We have Yankees 3-0. Now we have Mets Twins with a 1-0 Minnesota here. Byron Buxton puts an RBI on the board. We've got our guy Coach James Young here joining us for about 15 or so minutes just to talk some basketball. And Joe, I want to start just because there's more to get to probably with the men's side of it. Tomorrow morning we have games. We've seen everybody play a game so far. But firstly, great to have you. Looking sharp, seeing things a little clearer on a Monday night.
As I'll say, as Coach Young gets closer to 48, the vision's starting to go a little bit. So trying to look a little bit more distinguished, I would say, with the glasses on tonight.
Fair enough, JY. Listen, certainly looking good. I think people have often said you and I do look similar, and only enforcing that a little bit more here with the glasses. All right, so let's start with this. Team USA. I think of all the top teams, nobody looked better, right? Canada, not a nail biter, but a really tough one against Greece. France, they covered, but I didn't think they were overwhelming against Brazil. Team USA just separated as that game went on against Serbia, who was set to be their toughest test inside this group. What was your big takeaway from that game, and is there anything that carries over from now betting this team moving forward?
It's like if we had like Olympic Melo, is there like Olympic Durant? Because how a guy cannot play in any of the exhibition games just show up and show out the way Kevin Durant did, particularly shooting the ball from three. And this is something that, let's be honest, Kevin, you and I have talked about when he was with Phoenix, about like KD's got to be more of a guy that's willing to take that three-point shot. Obviously, he was absolutely fantastic. And, one of my concerns with the USA is perimeter shooting at times, because we have scores, do we have shooters? But Booker gives you 4 threes. Harden gives you 3 threes. Steph gives you 3 threes. Obviously we saw what we got out of Durant. So if they're able to shoot the ball from 3, they're lights out. Because now what you do is, now you're getting LeBron James, who can space the floor. By the way, shout out to Steve Kerr. You and I talked about this on Saturday. I said I wanted to see LeBron as a 4. Ding, ding, ding. LeBron as a 4. How you doing? Obviously was fantastic, 21, 9, and 7. So when you space the floor and you give LeBron guys who can shoot the ball, Kevin, he is unstoppable, because if you load up on him, he's going to find open shooters, but you got to contain the shooters so he gets downhill and he scores.
Yeah, I mean, the LeBron formula has never not worked in his entire 2 decades of playing basketball. Coach, I know you and I were able to talk a little bit earlier today off air just about who's going to lead Team USA in scoring. And I know before everything got underway, you felt it would be LeBron James. He finished just behind Kevin Durant, but that was Kevin Durant's first game. I'm really, just where are you right now on any of these Team USA markets? I know that next game is Wednesday, so we have a little bit of time, but is there anything from game 1 to game 2, whether that be tournament long or props wise, that you're looking to bet?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not moving off of LeBron being the leading scorer, because the ball's going to be in his hands. I also think LeBron's going to lead the team in assists, because he's going to be the facilitator of sorts, because of his ability to stretch and get downhill. When we talk about, and I don't know if we're going to talk tomorrow, but when we talk about South Sudan, folks, maybe I'm crazy. I think they're going to kick the snot out of him early. I think if I'm Steve Kerr, I lower the boom early. I love the USA minus the points in the first quarter. I think that they're going to absolutely be ready for this team a little bit better. There's going to be a little bit more switchability involved. And when Kevin and I talked about this earlier, styles make fights, right? So this whole thing about, playing time and Tatum and all that stuff, I think Tatum is going to play a more pivotal role in this second game, because I feel like you're going to have to play him more, because if you're going to switch like we do, I think there's going to be more opportunities for a guy like Tatum. So let's see when his points prop comes out, when it comes out. I think Ant's going to be pretty good at 12.5. And then I'm looking at the rebounds. I really think we're going to get a big rebounding game by Anthony Davis. 8+ rebounds is minus 145 on FanDuel. Do shop around. You may be able to get a better number in other books. But this is a guy that's going to have to play more, and B may not be as effective because of the 5-out style of play of South Sudan. So when you start looking at these games and the props, look at how teams match up with each other for the U.S., because Steve Kerr has the flexibility to play different ways.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Certainly those numbers develop. There is a long shot that I'm considering to lead Team USA in scoring, and it's a value shot on what is right now, I think, 9-1 Steph Curry. I still think he's going to have a microwave game from beyond the arc, which would give him a chance to close the gap that exists between him and LeBron and him and Kevin Durant. it would be a really tough sell for anyone outside of that trio, I really feel, to crack that. I don't think Anthony Edwards isn't starting. Embiid is not been anywhere near, I think, what Team USA thought he would be here at the Olympics. So for me, Steph is the guy to look at, and I've mentioned, and I did this in game number 1, and I'm going to look to be doing this in the games that Team USA plays, but taking Steph for 6+ threes, which was plus 950 in game 1, so use that as your bar in all of the games that they play in this tournament, as long as that number doesn't drop too far. I mean, if it gets to 5-1, then we've really lost a lot of that value, but those are the kind of things that I really want to be keeping tabs on here with Steph Curry, who we know he hit 6-7 threes, couple of layups, all of a sudden that's a 30-point game. That's a separator there, and you all of a sudden could be getting a great number. I think it's something to keep tabs on here. We're hitting a break. We're going to come back with Coach, get a few more thoughts on everyone outside of Team USA, and then back to the women's side of Team USA. A win, a cover, and over is how they began their tournament here at the Olympics. What Coach took away, that's next on Sports.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fight. It was a big night of memorable moments. Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Little left hand from Rockball. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah, we'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target for left hand from McGregor, double jab number 8. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, we're right here on SportsGrid, Coach. In less than 12 hours, Spain and Greece will play. That's with Giannis Antetokounmpo going as a 4-point favorite. Tomorrow's Olympic hoops will also see Canada game number 2 against Australia, an important one, a 6-point favorite. And then Victor Wembanyama and France are 17.5-point favorites against Japan. Anything outside of Team USA that you are going to be betting with the men's basketball Olympics?
Yeah, I'm going to look at Giannis to go over 28.5 points. I mean, he was absolutely sensational. The problem is they ain't got a whole hell of a lot else on that team that can score. So they need to lean on him heavily. So if I think that Greece is going to be in that game or actually win, Giannis has to be absolutely outstanding. Canada, Australia is intriguing. I mean, if you look at Canada, like they're supposed to be the second best team in the world. And, you know, they're going to go against a team in Australia that is just they just find a way to hang around. We're still waiting for Canada to play their best basketball. And then France, Japan, I loved what I saw out of Victor Wembanyama. And I also question what the hell was Brazil or whoever they're playing doing defensively, because I'd never thought about fronting a 7'4" guy in the low post. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be an effective strategy. Or I'll give you one better. Don't double him at all. But the one thing that's apparent is that is his team. He is the leader of the team. I know his points prop is 22.5. I may just go Victor Wembanyama, double, Kevin, minus 140.
Hold on, minus 140. He fell short on the rebounds. That's interesting. What's his rebound prop?
His rebound prop is it's 9.5 at minus 128. He's going to get. So actually, that's not even a good bet. I might as well go to rebounds minus 9.5 because the double is minus 140. So do your, as coach just got caught here. I guess my glasses didn't work too well. Just make sure you look at all the odds because sometimes they'll try to get you. So yes, Wembanyama over 9.5 rebounds. Kevin, there you go.
When he gets 9 boards and 10 blocks, coach is going to be furious. All right, Jay, talk to me with the women today. 102-76, they get the win. What stood out to you watching them against Japan?
It's like me and you playing 2-on-2 with Sammy and Kofsky. I mean, yeah, you want to talk about, in case you don't know, me and Kevin and I are both about 6'4", 6'5". Kofsky and Sammy are way shorter than that. But it would literally was, they could do whatever the hell they wanted. And it was funny because when I called Kevin like 2 minutes into the game, I'm like, Chelsea Gray, man, get her out the game. She looks terrible. But listen, when you got Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart cutting it all over the place, then it makes it easy. And here's the thing, folks. I think they had 35 assists to 42 field goals. The ball was moving. But at the end of the day, you have Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart. Those two are going to give you 40 combined points every single night because they're going to dominate the boards. They play really well together, and they looked really, really good. Concerned about the three-point shooting a little bit, Kev. Happy to see Ionescu kind of get going in the second half. They're going to need to shoot the ball better from three. You can see that what Japan was doing is Japan was trying to say, we can't beat you inside. So we're going to play 3 for 2. And it worked early in the game, but it's not going to last for 40 minutes.
I think for me, someone that played Chelsea Gray to lead this team in assists, that couldn't have worked out any better, of course, right? The 13 dimes. I think the funny part of that is, though, I am relying on this team not changing the lineup at any point in this tournament. Sabrina Ionescu, at this point in time, is better than Chelsea Gray. It wasn't true last year. Maybe it wasn't true when they decided on this team. But at this moment, she is better. And you saw she had 5 assists off the bench, but also it's the shooting. Watching as much as I could of that, I missed the last 5 minutes of the game. As much as I could, there's a lot of open threes for Chelsea Gray. She took 3 of them. She missed them all pretty badly, and she passed up on a lot of them. But again, not slandering her 13. I'm just talking about that wager. I think it's going to be really fun to continue to watch them play, though, Coach, throughout this tournament. Appreciated. As always, I'm sure JY will be covering everything going on with the Olympic basketball here as well. JY, enjoy the rest of that Monday, my man.
You are safe with Chelsea Gray. She will be starting.
We'll be right back here. Dave Sarafan joins the show.
What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? In one
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah, we'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. Utah Sports, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Early on the target. Right hand from my great double champion. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
Let's make it happen with you live right here on a Monday night. What's the baseball board look like? It looks like 3-1. Philadelphia trails, but they did get one back due to Trey Turner getting an RBI. It was on a fielder's choice. Man, Trey Turner, someone just, every time I see him come across the plate, just had he stayed healthy, could this guy be pushing Ohtani for league MVP? Certainly been brilliant this year. 4-0 right now. The Guardians up on the Detroit Tigers. Jose Ramirez having himself a day. 2 for 2, 2 runs scored with a home run and 2 RBI. He's got 2 extra base hits now in this baseball game as well. Would need a triple and a single if he were to go cycling. We've got scoreless in Cincinnati, Chicago. So that is a nerfy for those who got involved. We have a 1-0 Minnesota lead. So that was another nerfy that did come through on the board. And we had a nerfy in Boston and Seattle. That game is actually still waiting for its first hit in the matchup between Pivetta and, of course, Logan Gilbert going for the Mariners. We've got a 7:45 Rangers-Cardinals game here. And then, of course, 8 o'clock, we get a little bit more into the slate. Quickly, I'd love to mention for the people the updated Olympic basketball prices to lead in points, to lead in rebounds, and to lead in assists. But before we do that, let's bring in our good friend Dave Sharapan, who joins us right here on Game Time Decisions. Dave, great to see you. Hat, pristine. Pristine.
You know, I heard you talking to JY. I just saw JY there real quick. That was good. JY went with the glasses. I like what you guys are doing.
Did.
Yeah, like generations apart, but, you know, you could be brothers at some point. That was good to see. I'm excited about the baseball slate, Kevin. I am. This is, you know, the day before the trade deadline. You're excited about Jazz. I'm excited that you're excited about Jazz.
Well, it's actually kind of funny. I got to talk to Peralta on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, like and at the time they had not made the trade, and I was telling him like the Yanks are going to lose the game, they'll lose the series, like this is all bad.
Yeah.
And they traded then for, I'm dead serious. I don't care if Jazz Chisholm's batting 190. I really don't care. One of the most perfect players they could have traded for.
Mm-hmm.
How many cool players are there in Major League Baseball? Right?
Handful.
Cunha.
Right.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm is so cool.
Whoa.
That he was on the cover of MLB The Show.
Wow.
Like 2 years into his career while being on the Miami Marlins. They weren't even good.
Yeah.
They weren't even good. They're like, yeah, but this kid rocks. The Yankees don't
have a lot of cool guys. Like Judge is a monster.
You said it.
It's true.
It's true.
It's the Yankees have rules that essentially eliminate having cool players. I was told by some people they didn't want Bryce Harper years ago. He doesn't fit. If he doesn't fit, you're the problem, not Bryce Harper. He rocks. He's another cool player in Major League Baseball. Jazz Chisholm is cool. Yankees have someone that's cool. This is awesome, and he's so far been nothing but cool. Did you see him steal third the other night? Top of the ninth, and it made no difference in the game. Oh, I love that. Running up the score on the Red Sox.
After
this
he
kid's
slid
got
off
something.
of second base and fell, and he made
right.
slipping on second base look cool, to be perfectly honest.
Sure
he got
did.
up and went back to second and then said, all right, this is great. I'm going to steal third when nobody's looking. And he did.
That's
so
right.
you got one of
Monster.
your guys. I think you're going to have to get another guy. I don't want to talk too much Yankees. I don't, we got things to talk about. They're leading the Phillies 3-1. This is the series of the week, at least. A lot of people are calling this what could be the World Series preview. And, you got a big game tonight with Wheeler on the bump for the Phillies, already trailing. It's a big series for the Yankees coming off of the Red Sox series. Start to string a couple together before the deadline. So Giancarlo's back. Giancarlo's not – he's not cool, is he? Come on. Is he cool?
Whoa. He kind of is. I get why people don't like him.
Yeah.
No, can I say this? I think he's my favorite guy to watch hit home runs. He looks so offended when people throw him bad pitches, man. Like he never looks happy to hit a home run. He's like, I can't believe you threw that. I'm gonna have to respectfully hit that ball 420 feet and 120 miles off the bat.
Fair. Okay. Yeah.
He's a little cool. But again, like we don't really do cool. Is Paul Skeens cool? Nah, not really.
Not yet.
Cruz kind of cool. McCutchen was cool.
McCutchen still is cool.
A little bit of juice.
He's old school cool. He can't do what he did when he was cool that he does now. But he was cool. He was cool in Philadelphia. He went to the Yankees and he kind of became uncool briefly. To be perfectly honest, your argument holds water.
Yeah,
there.
no, but sure does.
It's true.
Sure does.
Sure does. Yeah, fair.
Right? I mean, look, there was a point in time where that worked, right? Because the Red Sox, back then, right? Manny being Manny, da-da-da. I get it, but, like, it's a new age, man. Let's be cool. Jazz Chisholm is cool. Now, you mentioned a World Series preview.
Yep.
Entertain me.
Yep.
Entertain me.
Yep.
If you were today, give me a vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you think about World Series preview, right? I know last year you had the execs.
Yep.
Is there something that you would, a little feeling, a little bounce, something pops to you?
We'll wait till tomorrow. We'll see if anybody goes and gets the guy, whomever the guy is.
Right.
Like, I don't know who it is. I heard you and Mish talking about it earlier, and Craig does a great job with the Marlins stuff, and then moving Jazz is probably, their biggest move? I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone else. The teams are starting to fill in pieces, right? There was just a trade.
Yeah.
Who got the Nationals guy? Somebody, Cleveland just filled in a spot, right? Yeah, the Guardians are making moves. I mean, you want to talk about cool. Yankees-Phillies would be cool, but Yankees-Phillies in the exacta prices are the second or third choice. Like it's Dodgers-Yankees, Yankees-Dodgers, and then it's Phillies-Yankees, Yankees-Phillies. Starting to go through those things, crossing teams off the list, keeping possibilities for teams. I got it right here. I got this from MLB, boys. Of the 30 teams, 22 enter Monday within 5 games of a playoff spot. I mean, within 5 games of a playoff spot, 22 of 30 teams. So I don't know who's making moves. Seattle's making moves. I don't know if I'm getting excited if I've got any Seattle tickets. I don't know if that, a Rosarena, great player to put at the top of the order. Justin Turner, nice veteran to throw maybe in the middle. But am I going to go bet them to win a World Series because of anything they did today? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the guy. And, man, I'm telling you, I think Blake Snell's the guy.
Oh.
And
Mm-hmm.
Someone today mentioned if Baltimore can get him, Corbin Burns to Blake Snell.
Not bad. Righty, lefty.
Not bad.
Not bad, right? Get him in there.
I mean,
hello. That's gonna.
Yeah. Hey.
That's gonna change. I mean, I don't know if there's a position player that could dictate as much as. And again, everything from my perspective is from decades and years spent in the book. Where would I get a guy to move a number? Where would a guy have to go to get to move a number? The Scherzer speculation a couple years ago moved the number. The speculation, let alone he ended up with the Dodgers and it didn't work out. But okay, I don't know if there's a position player that will move the needle, but man, there's a couple pitchers that if you put them in that number 2 slot behind the ace and you make it really hard to win a 5-game series. Hello, Blake Snell in Baltimore. You wouldn't even have to change the colors. Orange and black. Hello?
Sure.
Right there.
Hey, cleats translate. We'll be right back with the Game Time Decisions. We're live on Monday night.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fight. It was a big night of memorable moments. Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Left hand from Ron Paul. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night it is going to be. Historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Perry on the turn. Right hand from Mike Perry. Double check. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, we're back. We're live. We're making it happen. I want to quickly do just some Olympic reset with the people, and then we're going right back to the baseball board, all right? But there's a couple of things, and again, Dave and I have talked about this a lot. But if you're watching the Olympics, awesome. If you're betting the Olympics, we know what you're looking for. You're betting basketball.
Yes.
Okay? And the books know that. That's why they're giving us way more markets in men's 5-on-5 hoops than anywhere else. So, updated odds to lead this tournament in points, assists, rebounds. Let's just talk this out a little bit here. Let's start with the points. Giannis is the new favorite. He was plus 650. He's down to 3-1. Why? He scored 34 in game one against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was the favorite at plus 350 and is back to plus 440 because Shai only was able to score 21. We saw Kevin Durant shoot up that board, plus 750. Franz Wagner had a 22-piece for you. With Germany, he's in the mix there. 950 on LeBron. 12-1, Victor Wembanyama. Now, of course, with this and why this is super fun is this is not PPG. This is not points per game. It's total points.
Yes, sir.
So the worry on Giannis is, how many games of Giannis do you have? They lose to Spain tomorrow, you may only get 3. So that means that Giannis could give you 30 points a game, 90 total. Someone should be able to get past that.
Yep.
But if Giannis gets you 120 points, 30 a game in 4 games, that might be good enough. Someone would have to average 20 points per game over 6 games. Now, that is certainly touchable, though. It's certainly touchable.
Yep.
I think for me right now, Dave, I'm a little interested in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's plus 440. I think Canada should play 6 games.
Okay.
And I think Shai's scoring is the most secure. And I'm now getting an extra $1 from where we were pre-tournament.
Fair. First question to ask when you're looking at this, as you're handicapping this, and this is what Kevin and I used to do on Moneyline with Donnie, and we do this kind of every day when we talk. We talk through bets. Maximum number of games played for any team is 6, right?
Yep.
Okay. We want to get a guy that's going to play 6 games if we can. If we don't get the guy that plays 6 games, we got to get a guy that plays 5, ideally. We got to get a guy who's going to have the ball in his hands more than he's not. Okay? So I think, as you talk this through, if you can get SGA at that price and you think they can get to that last game, that's a bet. That's a play.
Well, now think about this too, though, Dave, and this is what I've been going through in my head. All you need is your guy to get to the semis. They'll play in that bronze game. If they lose, pressure's off.
Those points count for this bet?
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't they,
Hello.
right?
Yeah.
Right? I don't see why they wouldn't.
I would 100% think they would because they're playing for a medal. Those points count. Everything counts.
Correct.
Absolutely, that counts. So that gets us that game that we need. Hello?
And that's the swing. That's the swing. Is even if Giannis gets that 4th game, if he's eliminated in the opening round, Canada gets to the semis.
Right.
Now things have changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I will say is, as I'm talking this out, I'm kind of going back and forth myself. Both of these teams play tomorrow. They play big games. Maybe you let it go, get some results on the board. Even if you get a lesser number, you might get a little bit more clarity, right? Giannis gets upset tomorrow against Spain with Greece. I know you're going to lose some juice, but that might be worth losing a little bit of juice.
What's the number on that game? Is that a realistic proposition?
4.5.
What are they favored by?
Very realistic.
4.5. Oh, it's very
realistic.
Okay.
Now,
right.
Canada could lose too, though. Canada's only -6 against Australia. So both teams are up against up against it a little bit. Here's the difference, though, Dave. Canada plays Spain, double-digit favorite, for their 3rd game, where Greece plays Australia, dog. Not a huge dog, but a dog. So that's kind of even where the swing comes back in. If I may quickly, total assist leader Dennis Schroeder, plus 135, rightfully so. 12 dimes in that opening game. Germany is supposed to certainly make it out of the knockout stage there. Josh Giddey had 8. That's at plus 950. And LeBron had 9 assists. He's at plus 410. Shea had 7 assists, so he's at plus 950. I would go, if you made me bet the market, I'd play the Giddey 950. I'd play the Giddey 950.
I had it under my desk here. I had number 2 up on my finger because you were going to bet the second guy on that list. I figured you were coming with LeBron because we killed it yesterday with the discussion about the LeBron so much that I thought, a lot of people were interested in that. That was great. This is surprising to me that he's such a big favorite in this. Is this surprising to you that that's a big disparity between his number, LeBron's number, and then the rest of the numbers?
I think it shows that Germany has earned a lot of respect for what they can do in this tournament. And the idea that Germany, because France hasn't looked great, it wouldn't be stunning if Germany actually won their group. I think that number's going to be real close when Germany plays
Wow.
France.
Okay.
But here's the thing. This is just for people. This stuff moves when we do NBA Finals or NBA playoff series breakdowns, right? Remember, we caught the Derek Lively 201 series rebound leader number, which was just insane. This is a similar situation. Quickly for people, rebound leader, Wemby's the new favorite, as he should be, because he had 9 in game 1. AD stays second choice, plus 330. He had 8. Jokic falls. He only had a 5 or 6 against USA, plus Serbia lost that opening game. Listen, it's not the sexiest thing in the world. I think you are in a position. Click Vic, click AD. If it's not one of those two, it would be surprising for me when it comes to the total rebounds, Dave.
Same. I think it's Wembanyama, and then everybody else. I think there's that much of a delineation between them. Just looking at the list again, you'd know better than me. We'll see.
I still think it'll be AD because I think he's going to be even better against smaller competition in the next 2 games. But again, time will tell. Let's talk a little schemes before we let Dave get out of here. Come on now.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments. Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Good left hand from Ron Paul. Right hand, right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. I'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Perry on the target. Right hand from Mike Perry. Double check. Who's the king of violence? I am.
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, update for the people here on a Monday night. Kevin Walsh with Dave Sharapan for, again, tonight's an under 1.5 hits, runs, RBI night for me. So far, so good. Danced around a couple of landmines as well, right? Nick Blastianos has, is over that number right now. Nimmo touched second in the first inning via a walk and then a base knock, but couldn't do more than that. We've seen Justin Malloy get loose against the Guardians, but we're not on him, right? We're on Riamuto under. We're on Mark Canna under. The one over we did play was on O'Neal Cruz.
Oh.
Do not bet this via my device.
Oh.
If you have not bet it yet, we had a pitching change with
Yes,
Jake
we
Boss out, Kikuchi. But here's the reality. Nobody cares about who's pitching for the Astros.
No.
Everybody cares about who was supposed to go for Paul Skeens. Again,
Correct.
you say Kikuchi very well could end up as a Houston Astro sooner than later, and it looks like that deal is done, in fact, from Jeff Passan of ESPN. But again, Dave, Skeens Day on a Monday. What do you think?
I'm excited. It was so overpriced. The overnights, the books are playing defense there. They go overnight with a little bit high. Let the rhombuses and the parallelograms take the price down, maybe a limit play or two, and it comes down straight up. The K prop is down from an 8.5 the last 3 starts to 7.5 with the overjuiced. 9+ Ks, alt Ks is tough to get. 9 is probably the top. So I don't know about that. I did a video today for Newswire talking about it. Number of outs is interesting because I think Houston's going to make him throw a lot of pitches. I'd love to see him get to the 7th like he did the last couple starts. Don't know if he will tonight. So cautiously optimistic. I like the Pirates tonight. I did a little homework because, trying to stay relevant here with you and things like that. In addition to the Steen stuff, obviously I think he's going to record a win. But how about this? Bobby Witt Jr. has 9 plate appearances, 8 at-bats against Flexen. 5 hits, 1 homer, 1 walk. Bobby Witt over everything. Give you something to look at in the Royals and White Sox, because me and you and maybe Sam are the only people watching it, because everyone else is watching the Olympics.
Yes, they are. I will tell you, there's a couple key things that you said there.
Yes, sir.
Some we won't address. This was the first time I saw a Skeens number that I actually went, I'm on the other side. Just via the number, right?
Yep.
Too strong. Way too strong of a number. And that number's dropping, pitching change, right? It's funny, man, with this Royals-White Sox situation, but, sometimes people say, better to bet dogs. There's got to be someone out there that has just been smashing, no matter the number, money lines against Chicago all year, and it's just been working out for them, right? I mean, this is their second 14-game losing streak.
It's a what Wetzel likes to call, and I've heard this used for years in the book, a parlay piece. Every day somebody in some book somewhere or on an app somewhere has said, who are the White Sox playing? Put them in a parlay. Like Carver says, put them with the golf. Absolutely, they're doing it. So there's no question against them has been good. I've been with guys that have bet on a team like that until about now. And they throw up their hands and say, Uncle, you know what? It ain't happening. They're not going to win the next game. I've had enough. Please leave me alone. Let's start talking about college football and pro football, please.
Question for you, because you would have a better gate. Okay, they have 27 straight-up victories, right? When getting, what is this? I guess this is covering the run line?
Yeah.
This team is, it says here, 47-61 against the run line.
Fair.
Yep. Is that plus 1.5 or?
Well, that's not
there's
bad.
been
Though. 2 games or 3 games all season, I think, where they were favored enough to be the minus on the run line. So it's been plus a 1.5 pretty much the whole season.
The whole way. There's 20 extra wins there with the run line.
Plus a 1.5.
See, that's why I don't do the run lines. I don't know if I've bet a run line all year. Maybe once. I probably lost too.
Basketball. You have.
Yeah, all right. They say I have. I don't know how I did. Let's make sure Dom Smith didn't get a base knock here. Come on now. We got a bob and weave on this slate, Dave.
I got to go. You get Jazz picked off of first base. It wasn't cool.
Well, how
he
cool
was
is
out.
that? How cool is that, man?
What was that?
Getting picked off first. I hope that third base coach was like, man, you were supposed to be back a step. And he's like, man, I was going to steal on my own. Better watch it, pal. I'm going next time, too. Attaboy Jazz, attaboy Dave. We'll be back with you here tomorrow on Game Time Decisions. Stay locked in. It's In-Game Live next on SportsGrid.